Alrighty. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. File in here, file in here, file in here. Let's discuss this. Let's discuss. That was a lot. That was a lot. I did just watch it. And I've been going all day at a tournament for my older son for volleyball. And so, excuse me, I started watching it on the road and finished it at home. And uh-oh. Uh-oh, what did I do here? Hold on. Did you watch? Did you watch? I don't even know what to say. So I watched it, and I don't think they should have done this. I don't think that first of all, is there feedback? Can you guys hear me? Um I'm completely heartbroken. I'm in complete disbelief. I feel like I think this is like top tier exploitation. This is top tier exploitation. I think when they started the documentary, it was in good faith because there was talks about her doing this podcast, and it's so hard dealing with someone who is on a journey like hers where she is very codependent on her liquor. Her brain is not as functional as what we remember. She's not as witty. She's sharp, but she's mean. And I think when you are someone who is in the position to take care of a family member or someone close to you who is on this health decline, you want to make sure they're comfortable. Like my grandmother had dementia, and I don't, it was hard. I mean, it's so hard to even compare the two because my grandmother was in her 80s. Wendy is in her late 50s. She's going to be she's going to be 59 or 60 this year. So it's strange to compare the two, but nonetheless, having to deal with the same mental destabilization, you just want them to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So if they ask for something and they're snappy, you can't really take it personal. And so for those of you that watched it, you saw how she was talking to the publicist, who was like the publicist slash assistant, then Will, who is her manager. I just feel like, As much as she wanted to get back to work, I don't think I don't it, she tried to go back to work many different times and it didn't work out for her because the media, at every opportunity, the media wants to make Wendy like a sideshow, like a clown. And I think it is so disheartening and disrespectful. And so many people are saying, well, it's her karma because what she did for a living somehow overshadows the fact that that's a character and she's a human being. And there's so many people who are doing what they're doing because Wendy Williams paved the way, including myself. The way people report entertainment, the way people are comfortable enough to speak and convey their thoughts and opinions on celebrity news and gossip, Wendy Williams paved the way for the people of today to sit the way they do on these various streams and generate an audience and an income. And she has made history. And I just think that it is very awful how disregarded she is. And I don't know how to fully understand it. I don't. And watching this documentary, I really don't understand why it was put out there. I don't think this was something that should have been done. Because it continually, it just, I feel like it puts her in this, it was horrible. It was horrible to see. It was sad to hear her son talk. I think, and I think I derailed from my point, but I think when they started this, it probably was in the hopes that her health was making a comeback for her to be able to stand on her own 2 feet in a different way. But somewhere in this filming, it looks like it just had a turn for the worst. I see in the blogs a lot of people are questioning who this niece is. And it just goes to show that there's a lot of new people that follow Wendy at some point over the years, in the recent years, that don't understand that her niece, she talks about her niece all the time. Her niece is actually a news anchor in Florida, in Miami. I don't know the network, but she's talked about her niece through and through. And so, you know, I don't understand why Wendy isn't treated like the icon that she is. It's almost like like they're treating her like a clown. Like they're making some kind of example out of her, and I don't know. Like it's a mockery. Do you know what I'm saying? There was nothing respectful about this, and I feel like I am bothered by this. I'm bothered by it because this woman has made history. She is an icon. She paved a way for herself that there wasn't even a dirt road. And despite all of the negative criticism that she had to face and overcome over the years, She persevered and she kept going. And like I said, she made a name not only for herself, but she created the way for a lot of people who report entertainment news, for people who report entertainment news in the way in which they do today. Whether you want to give her credit or not, it's a fact. And what bothers me is that people don't do enough research on Wendy Williams' career, and they just get the bits and pieces of whatever whomever sits behind these blogs want to put out there for you. She's a mother. She's obviously not in her right mind, and her vice is alcohol and these e-pens. From what we can see, I mean, we damn sure know for sure it's alcohol. Things of destruction to her body and to her mind. Another part of this that bothered me towards the end of this part one was when the driver was kind of laughing at her. She was having an episode. You can tell she was having this manic episode, and the driver, he goes in and out of like laughing at her because she's literally having a psychotic break. We didn't need to see that. Not only did we not need to see that, it's upsetting to know that she has people in her circle who find this funny. I don't know who greenlit this to continue. It's one thing to feel like it's something that they started, to kind of see her journey and, on the incline. She's getting better and she's going to do a podcast and things like that. But the minute it wasn't doing what it was doing, I think they should have put a complete pause on this project and not put it out. As far as all the news and stuff that's been coming out with this Guardian, it would have been nice to get to see if we could get Kevin back on the show here right now. I feel sad for her. As a lot of you watching me probably, we share the same feeling. And I don't know if we'll ever see Wendy again. I don't know if any of you in here are watching had to deal with anyone with dementia. And I don't know anyone that has come back from, I don't know. The only experience I've ever had with that was my grandmother, rest her soul. And that was a continual decline until she passed away. And so I don't know if there's any success stories of people coming back from it. I don't know if Wendy is young enough or what her health is like for her to make some kind of turnaround. I have no idea. So if you're watching me and you're live, I don't know, say something. If that is something that can happen, like if people can actually come back and make a recovery from dementia. I don't know. As far as I know, it's a deterioration of the brain, and I don't know what Wendy's diet is like currently. these productions are usually taped months ago, so this could very well be 6 months old, so or 3 months old, or whatever the case is. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they're showing are things that hit the blog as even last year and parts of 2022. So who knows what her current state? As far as I know, she's in Florida, but I don't know where she's at and what the real present day is looking like. Okay, so people are saying you can't heal from dementia. What is quite disheartening is also I you know it's so much to unpack with. I know people are saying it's greed and everybody got paid off of this. I can't speak to that because I don't know how much anyone got paid off of this. I don't know how much Wendy got, her niece, her kid. I don't know. And I don't want to make any assumptions, but I definitely feel like this did not put her in a light of respect at all. She's sitting there. She's very snappy. She is very, very mean. She goes from being extremely mean and extremely snappy to a complete crying basket case, to then someone who is in bed, and that's not. I don't think that as someone who holds such a legacy like hers, this is not something we should have seen at all, ever. Her manager Will. I go back and forth on my feelings with him because while we are seeing him talk about how, he's searching the house and he's throwing away bottles and, all that stuff. How did the bottles get in the house, first and foremost? Secondly, as her manager, how did he even allow this to air? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a mind game. You're looking at him and you're appreciating him, but you have to ask yourself, how is this even able to air? Somebody had to sign off on it, and we know it's not Wendy. If there's a cahoots, there's people who are in cahoots. And then the other side of me feels like, okay, well, are you playing it up for the TV? Acting like you are caring for her and you don't want her to drink, and you're, is this your show that you're putting on? And then when production leaves at 5 o'clock, you're the one ordering the liquor and all of the stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Who is bringing the alcohol in the house? It's clear she's not able to go and buy it. I don't really think that he's doing the best of jobs with her. I also think that she's got people in her bubble who just want her to be Wendy Williams again so that they can make this profit, rather than really taking care of her as if we would be taking care of our parents or our grandparents. They deliver liquor. Yes, I'm aware that they deliver liquor, but someone has to sign off on it. So she lives in a doorman operated building. So it has to pass downstairs. Downstairs has to call upstairs to let her know she's got a delivery. Then once it gets upstairs, someone has to sign for it. They have to present ID. They can't just drop off the liquor at the door and walk away. They can't do that. Someone is signing off on this. Who is the someone? It's not her. And trust me, what we're seeing here, what we're seeing here on the TV today and what we'll watch tomorrow, it's not it's a sliver of what's really going on. Do you understand? This is nothing. If you were emotionally affected by what you saw this evening, trust and believe this is a sliver of what is actually going on in real life. So I'm concerned with who in this bubble of hers sat at the round table and greenlit this, and for why. Because what are we as the viewing public what are we supposed to do with this? It's only giving the media more fuel to disrespect a living icon. They would have never done anything like this to Barbara Walters. They didn't do anything like this to Bob Barker. They didn't do anything like this to Alex Trebek. They didn't do this to Peter Jennings. So then why'd they do this to Wendy? Why did they get to make, why? Could she have backed out of the deal with Lifetime without a penalty? The wonderful thing with contracts is there's clauses in there. Wendy has a severe health issue. Now, I don't know all of what was written in this contract, but I can almost, I mean, even for the most minor contracts, there's a health clause in there. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine there not to be some kind of clause in there, you know, if her health or anything of the such, especially since when they started filming this, it's not like her health just happened in the middle of filming. It just declined even more, if that makes sense. So they definitely could have pulled this. So that is what is bothering me. Once Lifetime saw the severity of her illness, they should have canceled it. With her condition, these papers should have been non-void. You know, as someone who grew up paying attention to this woman and picking up the breadcrumbs that she left behind, like her and so many of the greats that have now passed on that I just mentioned, it is a wonder to me why she's not respected in the way she should. Wendy has paved the way as a woman, as a black woman, as an entertainer. And I don't know what it's going to take for people to give her the respect that she deserves while she's alive. And, you know, yeah, you could say, well, you shouldn't watch it because you give it ratings. Well, how can you not? Do you know what I'm saying? How can you not watch that? Now that I've seen it, I wish I didn't see it because I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm very sad. As a mother, I'm very sad for her son. Her father is still alive. I'm sad for her family. You know what I'm saying? I'm very sad. And I wish that I had the voice and the power to do more for her, but I don't. And I feel helpless. I feel powerless. And it's a debilitating feeling when you watch the deterioration of your heroes and of the people who paved the way for you. And all I have is this little channel right here. No, who knows me? Nobody knows me. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel helpless. And they say, you'll be disappointed if you meet your heroes or whatever they say. And I'm proud to know that I did get to meet her in her better days. And I had such great pleasure in sitting in her audience the countless times that her production reached out and allowed me to be there front and center and play games live with her. And it's been such an honor to be able to pick up those breadcrumbs that she left behind and learn after her and really understand the business and be a voice and have my voice and do things. Because she broke those barriers along with other people. And it makes me sad to know that so many other people get such wonderful specials and respect, and all they do is they take the worst out of her and they broadcast it and they platform it. And they make her like a fucking clown. And that's horrible. And let me explain something to you. And I know everybody is split with how they feel about her ex-husband, but please understand that them as a couple paved the way and shaped a lot of how gossip entertainment is done today. Wendy Williams is an amazing talent. And she would have always been Wendy Williams. But a lot of what we know of her and what we saw and what we heard, for everybody from New York, it was done with her and her ex-husband. Okay? And while, yes, a lot of people are torn up and broken up with how things played out and what he did, if you take your emotions away from the things in which that took place with that and understand the business that was created, you have to pay respect where respect is due. Period. And I really would, I hate to go down a rabbit hole and think about the masterminding and crucifixion and overplay on what took place in that time period. But if you really allow yourself to think and remember the decline of Wendy Williams, a lot of people like to blame it on Kevin, and I'm not here to defend or highlight or negate anything. But I'm going to keep it real with you. The decline happened when they started shutting him and her family out of her life. And those people wanted to puppeteer her all for themselves. For those of you saying that she loved him, yes, she loved him. And yes, I'm not going to talk about anything with their marriage because unless he's here to talk about it himself, I'm not about to. That is not my place to talk about at all by myself. But what I will say is that once the dust settled and they both came to the understanding of what they needed to do as individuals for the betterment of their lives, for their son, and also for their business, all Wendy wanted was him, and production kept him away. I will share that with you. All she wanted was him, and they continually shut him and the son away, and they put people in place for her. I don't know. You know, if you recall 2 years ago, right around this time, 2 years ago now, when the Wendy Williams movie came out, okay, and then they did a documentary kind of thing after. Do you remember? And Wendy didn't look good then. And even with the movie, there was a lot that didn't go the way it should have. If you're going to do a movie on Wendy Williams, they made more of the cheating scandal was in there than it was about Wendy. Do you all remember? Can we go back? Can we think about that? Here was an opportunity for us to see the queen of all media in a different light. And they really made the movie on Kevin and her addiction. And they really did not spend much time on her career and the highlights. Do you remember? And then after the movie, when they did this, the documentary or whatever, they portrayed her to be like a damsel in distress. And it was with the same it was with Lifetime. What the fuck are you doing? It was with the same network. It just hit me. So there's someone in her. I don't know what it is, but there's someone in her bubble that is sleeping in bed with Lifetime because Lifetime is making a fool out of Wendy. That's what it is. I just remembered the movie was with Lifetime. The little documentary that was after was with Lifetime. And then this 2-part series is with Lifetime. Lifetime is making a fool out of Wendy. That's the problem. That's it right there. That is it. So now we get to sit here and see the worst parts of her. I don't care that she had to deal with them. Deals get broken every day. That's why there's contracts. If you break it, you either pay out or, you know what I'm saying? Deals get broken every day. That's why there's contracts. That's why you have the paperwork. But there's something going on in her camp. That's what it is. Because I don't know. There's something real stinky here. I mean, yeah, she had a contract with Lifetime. She's done movies with Lifetime. She produced a couple of what movies did she produce with Lifetime? The Aaliyah one and another one. Was it the Whitney Houston one? I might be wrong. Of course I'm emotional. I'm a 1,000% emotional. I'm 1,000,000% emotional. I'm pissed. I'm disgusted. I'm upset. I'm heartbroken. I'm hurt. Who is going, what network is going to look at this and come to the table with the same emotions that I have? I need more people with the powers that be to be as upset and emotional as I am and put this woman in the light that she deserves. She doesn't deserve to be portrayed like this. This is the second time that Lifetime had the opportunity to get this right, and they didn't. If you want to show anything, don't show her. Don't show her sitting in the back of a Cadillac Escalade driving around and she's telling the people, drive past the Wendy Williams show. Drive past the Wendy Williams show and then turn around and the smoke shop is going to be there. Don't show that. Show her on the beach. Show her going to the gym. Show her in Florida with her family. Don't show her laid out in the bed like she's strung out. Don't show the people talking about how the place stinks and there's cat vomit and all that stuff. We don't need to see that. They would have never done any. Not only would they have never, that you've never seen them do anything like this with Barbara Walters. You didn't. The same respect that they gave everybody else that has either passed on or is still here. I don't understand what it's going to take for a proper production company to take the reins and show this woman and give her the absolute respect that she deserves. But this ain't it. This is not it. I didn't desire to be in broadcasting idolizing after a lunatic. They're making her seem like she's this lunatic. That is not what you do to the legends. I don't care. You don't do that. You don't do this. We don't need to see this. I don't think the people on her team like her. tell you all something. When Wendy battled her addiction, and I'm talking to my New Yorkers, okay? If you're a true blue New Yorker and you're watching me right now, put a 1 in the chat. If you remember Wendy Williams from 98.7 Kiss FM, she had 2 minutes to talk about gossip. 2 minutes. If it was even that long. 2 minutes is a long time in broadcasting, okay? Wendy had no time to give us and I forget what they called it. I was a little girl. I forget what they called it, but it was in between segments of shows. I want to say it was like, was it Jeff Fox in the morning or Ken Spiderweb or whatever the case? This was way back in the day. And they cut to Wendy and she kicked out the gossip and boom, that was it. Wendy got her career out of the mud. When she met her husband, he's the one that connected her to the streets. Wendy was tall, she was big, she was loud, and she was obnoxious. And I say that respectfully. When her and her husband got together, he then helped put pieces of the puzzle together. Spare me with what your thoughts are and, oh, he cheated on her. We're talking business, okay? When she had her issues back then with drugs and alcohol, guess what? We didn't know about it. We didn't know about it. You want to know why we didn't know about it? Because the team that she had, starting with her husband, protected her. Sometimes when you're the talent, and you have to do everything by yourself, you make interesting decisions. You don't always make the best decisions. But when you are able to build a proper team and delegate the work, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you know that people have your back, and you have someone who is watching the team like her husband. And I'm going to push the envelope even further. Kevin is a big guy, and yes, he's aggressive, okay? He was also her manager, okay? And he fired a lot of people that he did not think held the weight that they needed to be on the team of such a powerhouse like Wendy. So he let them go. And he would show up to meetings and he would get work done. And he made sure that when we're not talking about his wife, Wendy Hunter, we're talking about his talent, Wendy Williams. The things in which he had to endure from the talent of Wendy Williams and the wife, Wendy Hunter, we didn't know about. We didn't know about it because he made sure to protect the talent. And I think people, I want you to be smart. Yes, of course she was a brand before him. Wendy was always Wendy before him. Just like you were you before you. Have any of you ever met someone, whether it's a man or woman, or you married that person, or you made that person your best friend because you work so well together? The reason you blossom and you flourish when you have good people in your corner. And at the time when they met, she went from here to here. Not saying she wouldn't have gone there on her own, but sometimes you get a good team and you get good people around you, and it helps elevate you faster and efficiently. And Kevin came in and did that. And you spare me of the emotional feelings of what you think about their marriage. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not. Think. I want us to think and have. I am pissed because the conditioning that we were fed to believe that he's this monster because he cheated on her. For fuck's sake. Do you really think the Wendy Williams that we know and the stronghold that she is was going to break? Do you, let's think for a second. Do you think that Wendy wasn't aware of this? It's a whole puppeteering that's happening. He's the boogeyman. Leave him alone. Don't you think that people wanted her to be broken down the way that she is today? To make her to highlight and make her look like the fool in which we saw today and 2 years ago? Think about it. They had to get him out of there. They had to. That is why I'm telling you, think back to the 90s and even think back to the early days of Wendy Williams when all she had was this 30 seconds on the radio to talk about gossip, 2 minutes on the radio to talk about gossip. We never knew about the destruction that was going on, and it was hella destruction going on in the bathrooms over there. We didn't know about it because she was protected. She's not protected today. She's being puppeteered to look like a fool today, which is why we can turn on Lifetime on a Saturday night and see the icon that she is deteriorating in front of our eyes. She is not protected. We didn't need this. As much as the public who enjoys her content is asking for her and we want Wendy back and all those things, we didn't ask for this. Nobody wants her back like this. Who now can sit back and consume entertainment on Monday of next week or Tuesday or Wednesday and say, oh man, you'll never be able to properly think of the Wendy Williams we once knew without thinking of this. And that's horrible. We didn't need this. The same way they didn't put images and deterioration of Barbara Walters and all the greats that have gone on and that are still living today, quietly battling their own health issues, the same way they don't feed it to us because they want the memory of who they are and what they have done and contributed to society to stay pure and impactful and respectful. That is what they should have done to Wendy and for her, but they didn't. They want us to remember the crazy outbursts. They want us to remember her crying and looking like a damsel in distress. They wanted to show us the horrific scene of her feet with her, what is it? Lymphedema? They wanted us to see her feet. Don't you see the way they zoomed in on her foot? They want us to see her in these outbursts. That's what they want us to remember. You're damn right I'm pissed. And I as someone who knows how to do this because of people like her, I am so sad and hurt that there's nothing I can do but sit here and talk in my phone to people who probably can care less about my opinion. Because I can't do anything. I can't call her. I can't call up her team. I can't go to New York or Florida and find her. I'm powerless. All I have is my stories about how she inspired me. All I can do is do my Wendy spoofs that I don't know if she's ever seen or if she'll ever see. And it makes me sad that There's going to be generations behind me when I'm long and gone that will have this to find. I wish I could protect her. If I was on her team, I would have slapped all those cameras right off of the balcony. I don't know who or I don't know. I think her whole team should be fired. Her entire team needs to be fired, starting with the manager. The PR person needs to be fired. The driver needs to be fired. No manager that cares about their talent will ever put their talent in the light like this. Will doesn't give a fuck about Wendy. You all were conditioned to see that on TV with him talking about throw the bottles away and he's walking around the house. He doesn't care about her, because if he cared about Wendy, we wouldn't be sitting here today consuming this. There's no way. I don't even know if he's still her manager today. I don't. Because this was done a while ago. What they did to her show, what they did to her YouTube channel, you can't go on YouTube and find Wendy Williams shows unless it's someone who taped bits and pieces of it. What they did to her social media pages, the way they allowed the Sherri Shepherd show to happen, her whole legacy has been swiped. If you go on YouTube right now, you're not going to find any of her episodes that used to be there. The Sherri Shepherd show page, they didn't create a Sherri Shepherd show page. They changed the name of the Sherri Shepherd, they changed the name of the Wendy Williams show page into the Sherri Shepherd show. So it's been hard for me to be happy for Sherri Shepherd because she didn't earn that. She didn't build that platform on her back. Overnight, they took the billboard of the Wendy Williams show and slid it out and slid in the Sherri Shepherd show. They didn't even change. If you remember back when the Sherri Shepherd show first started, they didn't even change the set. So if you know that you're dealing with someone with declining health that is brain related, this is firsthand bullying, for one. For two, what do you think it's going to do to her? Wendy's penthouse is not far from where the studio is. Absolutely everyone is replaceable in show business. But when you have an icon like Wendy Williams, you don't do that. You don't do that. They didn't do it to Barbara Walters. So why did they do it to Wendy Williams? Tell me. I'm not talking about from when Sherry was filling in. Filling in is one thing. Turning over a show, they changed nothing when they created the Sherry Shepherd show. Sherry didn't even go to Wendy to even talk to her about the handing over of the torch. And I know people can say, oh, there's no loyalty in show business. Why not have the conversation? Sherry could have easily went to Wendy's house and talked to her. Why did production swipe all of Wendy? Why couldn't they create new media for Sherry Shepherd? They swiped all of Wendy's stuff off of the net. Look, I don't know if you all. I just saw someone say they're bracing themselves to watch it. It's horrific. It's horrible. I'm disgusted. And I don't think that Wendy's team is there for her. They're there for themselves. And it starts with that manager. I think that whole team needs to be dismantled. Lifetime had the opportunity to do this again the right way, and they didn't. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. I'm done.